Hello everybody, welcome to the Comic Game Movie Show. My name is Deshaun and today I am here to talk about that news that came out a few days ago, about maybe NetherRealms, the Mortal Kombat, Injustice, the guys who have been behind the last, I believe the last three Mortal Kombat games, maybe four, I don't know, did NetherRealms, comment in the comment section, did NetherRealms do DC versus, DC versus Mortal Kombat? Now that was a terrible game, but did they do that one? I'm curious if they did. Either way, the last three games NetherRealm has made or have reinvigorated the entire Mortal Kombat genre. The Injustice games have not only been great games within themselves, even though to a certain extent they are just a reskinned kind of restart, not completely, because I believe those games had especially Injustice 2 really took on something of its own kind of it found its own legs. It has its own style, though the basic mechanics are pretty much Mortal Kombat's mechanics, right down to the moves that you do, but they don't have fatalities. I don't believe they have fatalities or anything like that. But even still, I think NetherRealms has done a great job with that, because the Injustice thing is a completely original story. Not original. Like the concept of an evil Superman isn't something that's completely out of the realm of possibility, but the entire story of Injustice was just so unique, because there's comic books based off the Injustice, the first Injustice and the second Injustice. So Injustice was a great thing. It reinvigorated not reinvigorated. It reinvigorated the fighting game genre, added another game to it, and really, it gave DC characters another avenue to be seen. I think DC has been doing a better job at Marvel in terms of, for the most part, with their video games. Granted, a lot of them there's not like they have a bunch of games outside of the Batman games. It's really just Batman in it. It's really just the Arkham series and Injustice. And there hasn't been an Arkham game in quite a while, so it's really just Injustice. But overall, I do think, with Injustice kind of kept DC in the spotlight in the video game community, whereas I'd say the Spider-Man game kept Marvel in the spotlight. But, like I said, NetherRealms have completely reinvigorated the Mortal Kombat franchise in video game form. Ironically, I absolutely hated the recent movie that came out. And honestly, I suppose you can blame NetherRealms, because they've done such a good job picking up the pieces, pushing the stories forward. And they've just done such a great job with these new Mortal Kombat games that, seeing the movie just upset me even more. But I'm here to talk about the news that NetherRealms may be working on a Marvel fighting game. Yes, NetherRealms may be working on a Marvel fighting game. And if Injustice is any indication, of anything to go off of, it might actually, this might be great. Because for years, I will say, Marvel Nemesis. Does anyone remember that game? Marvel Nemesis. I believe it was called Marvel Nemesis. I have it upstairs, actually, because I got my PlayStation 2 and I started going on a buying spree. Like a year or two ago, I went on a buying spree, just buying old PlayStation 2 games that I never got myself. Either I couldn't afford, either my mom couldn't get it for me, or, I had to choose between certain games I could get and certain games I couldn't get, or they were rated M and I couldn't play them. So I went on this buying spree a year or two ago, buying up games that I never got to play, that I never got to fully, enjoy and play. Marvel Nemesis was one of them. And playing Marvel Nemesis made me go, why aren't there more Marvel games? I was sitting there why aren't there more Marvel games? Clearly there's some fun to be had with all of these characters. And, Injustice came out and I was like, damn, man, this is fun, this is cool. I bought Injustice. I bought both Injustice. I bought Justice 1 and 2. It's funny, because, I'm not a DC guy, but I do enjoy DC still enough to get those games, especially. I enjoyed the hell out of the story. I thought the story was great. I thought the action was great. Seeing Evil Superman was cool. So I'm like, I can't wait. So in my mind, I'm like, I can't wait to see all of that done for a Marvel game. So, which I'm hoping they do the same thing they did with Injustice, which is a completely original story, new story by the NetherRealm guys. It's something different. It's something, it's, I don't know how they're going to do it, though, because they can't do it just like Injustice, because you don't want to see a rehash, but I'm curious of what what event they're gonna start, what they're gonna try to do. I mean, they could do it. They could put it in because the thing about it is you have to make a story that makes logical sense for heroes to be fighting other heroes. Because that's what the NetherRealm. I will give NetherRealms this. They are some of the. They're the only ones in the fighting game community who actually try to make sense of like why these people would be fighting each other. Not, don't get me wrong. Street Fighter has a story. Tekken has a story. But they're kind of crazy and convoluted and contradictory. Not to say Mortal Kombat isn't. Mortal Kombat is crazy, convoluted, and contradictory. But generally speaking, you know what's going on. You know what's going on. There is a story. There are little lines. Certain things that are convoluted are cleared up, like with sequels. They pull an MCU where something that doesn't make any sense, they kind of go, all right, we'll make it make sense in a sequel. Give us time to explain it. So honestly, I'm trying to think of what they're going to do to make a conflict. Now, honestly, I don't know what they call it because, injustice, you know what I mean? Like, it has to have a name, like something that could stand out. Like, because I don't know if they want to call it Marvel this or if they want to hit the, Injustice, because that's called DC's Injustice. It's called Injustice. Gods Among, I think it's Justice Gods Among Us. How do they want to do this? Either way, I'm excited about this. I can't wait. I've always wanted a fighting game from Marvel. I've always thought a fighting game from Marvel would be just awesome to be able to use those abilities, the different characters and whatnot. Marvel's pantheon is just as deep as DC's. There's not like, it wouldn't be as many skins because DC has a lot of characters who are like legacy characters, while Marvel doesn't have like legacy. Marvel has legacy characters, but for the most part, everyone is who they are. Even right now, with Falcon being the new Captain America, he goes back to being Falcon. Steve goes back to being Captain America. So even the legacy characters, because Marvel don't do sidekicks really. They don't do young guy take over. Marvel does, you're the next qualified person to do this. Like, that's how Marvel does like legacy. They're like, you're the next qualified person to do this. For the most part. So, there's not going to be too many, like, skin changes. Maybe you can be able to get, X-23 skin for Wolverine or, something along those lines. But for the most part, it ain't going to be too many skin changes. But I am excited for this. Like I said, I thought Marvel Nemesis was a really cool game, a really cool concept that never got to really shine like it should have. Like, that concept of, like, these beings that are just attacking and all these, like, it was really cool concept that you never got to see. I'm just wondering in my mind, I'm just, like, going, how would you do Captain America's shield? Will he, like, not throw it? Because, like, I mean, that's kind of a part of his thing. How do you do, the Spider-Man? I am, like, in my mind thinking about it. So I hope this is true. I hope NetherRealms really is making a Marvel fighting game, because that will be awesome. And I heard that's going to be on next gen. So maybe they're waiting to make a big announcement and be like, this is happening. And for those of you who might be wondering, NetherRealms is owned by WB. Keep in mind, WB is, clearly they're not too weird about that, because WB owned the rights to the Lego games for a very long time, and they made both Marvel and DC Lego games. So, maybe this will be in the same department. I mean, hell, shit. Somebody, I'm pretty sure, I think Microsoft almost bought NetherRealms for a second there, but, it is what it is. But anyways, thank you guys for joining the Count Game Movie Show. Comment below, are you excited about the idea of a Marvel Mortal Kombat style fighting game made by the guys behind Mortal Kombat and Injustice? Me personally, I am hyped for that. I hope it's true. I really want to see that. But yeah, guys, thank you for joining me on the Comic Game Movie Show. Please be like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Goodbye.